She hands it off to Jackson. Jackson uses the screen, lost the handle, bounced past to Plum. Plum loses it, regains it, throws it up for grabs. Grabbed by Boston out of the sky. And we're going to have a foul here. No, a timeout taken by Indiana.
What I love the most about this squad is that, just like O said, like we feel confidence, the coaches feel confidence that any shot you take should be confidence. We can trust you and trust that you're going to make it. And I feel like that's just really helped us down the line. So no matter who moves in, no matter who steps up, we're all just doing that.
Aliyah Boston didn't just speak after the game, she backed it up on the court. In a season where Indiana has been plagued with injuries, Boston came through with a monster performance, 22 points, 11 rebounds, and a career-best 6 steals, capped off by the defensive stop that sealed the win. Her post-game words had Fever fans buzzing, but the real story is how she lived them. That statement might just explain how Indiana pulled off their biggest victory of the year. Even with momentum shaky and key players sidelined, one unexpected hero stepped up and sparked the energy that slammed the door on LA. This wasn't just another game, it was a season-defining moment. If you're fired up about the Fever, drop a big Fever win in the comments. Let's go!
Fever
How do you win when half your roster is in street clothes? That was the cloud hanging over Indiana as they rolled into Los Angeles. Caitlin Clark sidelined, Sophie Cunningham out, and both Sydney Carlson and Ari McDonald unavailable. 4 guards. 4 creators. 4 voices stripped from the rotation. For most teams, that's a knockout punch, especially in a game with playoff stakes. But the Fever didn't have the luxury of folding. With nothing left to lean on except grit, toughness, and faith in the few who could suit up, they chose to fight.
About the resilient, nature of our team. I think one other thing that sometimes goes missed is just the character of these women, right? Especially this group that's been here, that's gone through all of this, and then the ones that we brought in with O and Shay and AP. I mean, these are women who care about women. These are women who care about one another. These are women who sacrifice every single day.
It wasn't just the injury report weighing on Indiana. This wasn't some throwaway game in August. The Sparks weren't just another opponent, they were a problem the Fever hadn't solved all year. 3 meetings, 3 losses, each one more frustrating than the last. And the standings turned the pressure up even higher. Indiana sat in 6th, barely hanging onto a playoff spot, while Los Angeles lurked in 9th, just 2 games back. That cushion could vanish overnight. Add in 4 losses in their last 5, and the whispers got louder. Was this team falling apart right when it mattered most?
Steph mentioned, whenever she sees you with the 2 black eyes, she smiles in a way because it just exemplifies your toughness. Do you feel tough in these kinds of situations with these 2 black eyes? I mean, that's what people keep telling me. Every time she sees me, she smiles and says, "I'm so sorry." I'm like, "You don't need to be sorry. This is what it is." And when I mentioned about it, I don't really much about it because I don't really. And you're still able to see completely fine? Right.
Picture the challenge, a team that looked fragile from the outside, staring down the final 5 games of the season with nothing but patchwork lineups to lean on. At this point, it wasn't about chasing perfect rhythm, it was about surviving each possession, one at a time. That survival mode became their blueprint. Every player who saw the floor had to give more than their usual role demanded, and every minute played came with a weight far heavier than the box score could ever show.
Originally, I was like, I just needed swelling to go down my forehead. So I put a patch, slept with it the next day, woke up, and was like, okay, the bump is almost done, now I have to do my eyes. So that was scratch. But I mean, at this point, unfortunately, won't be able to hide it. Were you able to hide it for the photo shoot? Take it, but I'm hoping he'll do some editing.
And then you saw Lexi Hull. She wasn't just playing. She was competing with both eyes marked up after colliding with Gabby Williams in the last game. 2 black eyes, and she still dug into defenders, still grabbed loose balls, still ran through screens. Hull symbolized exactly what the Fever needed that night. Show up even when it hurts. Her presence was a message in itself. If she could fight through, so could everyone else wearing Indiana red.
I imagine on Tuesday you got checked for concussion, facial fracture. Just how much of a sigh of relief was it that you didn't have concussion or any kind of fracture?
Yeah, honestly, when it happened, I was like,
relieved because I could feel myself like I was good to go. Like I felt completely with it. They did all the tests they needed to do and put ice on it right away, try to keep it slowing down, but I felt good knowing that like obviously it could have been a lot worse, and I'm grateful for the people online wanting to check on me and make sure that I'm okay, but I'm okay. I'm fully checked out.
// // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // // rewrite to this paragraph.
I like that we dug in. It wasn't ideal in terms of how the game was. It was ugly. We had moments where we were better than others, but we dug in. I mean, when you think about key defensive stops, key offensive rebounds, like AB's key offensive rebound there at the end, making plays, deflections that led to steals, or deflections that led to bobbled passes.
Indiana's refusal to fold under pressure created the perfect opening for an unlikely hero. Out of that battered, short-handed roster, a veteran who had been waiting in the shadows finally stepped into the light. Odyssey Sims became the closer nobody saw coming. Think about it, this was supposed to be a night of survival, a patched-up team just trying to hang on. Instead, a 31-year-old reserve turned into the heartbeat of the game. And for Sims, it wasn't just any game. Across from her stood the Sparks, the team she once called her own. That history added fuel to every possession, every drive, every shot. You could see it in her eyes, this one was personal.
Sims left open for three, she got him! Offensive rebound, Sims the runner. Here's Howard, shovels Sims right at the doorstep and she gets it off the window. 3-on-3 the other way, Sims the take and finishes the lefty layup.
At this point in her career, nobody expects a backup guard to take over an offense. Her name doesn't draw the same attention in scouting reports as Aliyah Boston or Caitlin Clark. And when Kelsey Mitchell, the Fever's top scorer, sputtered to just 5 makes on 14 attempts, that's usually when a short-handed team starts to unravel. But instead of breaking, Odyssey Sims became the solution. She entered calm, deliberate, and fearless, treating every single possession like it was the moment she'd been preparing for all along.
Down by Plum. Plum 1-on-2, ripped away there by Sims. Great play by Odyssey Sims. Played the ball. 3-on-3 the other way. Sims the take and finishes the lefty layup.
Her stat line only scratches the surface, 21 points in total, but the real story was in the timing. Every basket seemed to land exactly when Indiana needed it most. Sims carried herself with poise, pushing the pace when the Fever needed a spark and slowing it down when the Sparks threatened to seize control. Then came the closing moments. Late in the fourth, the ball kept finding her hands. She attacked the lane, pulled up in rhythm, and created off the dribble. These weren't secondary touches anymore. She had become Indiana's primary outlet, the player everything flowed through.
The lead back up to 3. Sims left open for 3. She got him! Odyssey Sims with the triple to tie this one up at 74 apiece. Got the offensive rebound out to Mitchell. Here's Hole curling, Hole down the lane. The kick out Sims. Sims in the paint. The runner good. They put Turner on the inbound. Alamon inbounds it to Hamby, and so now that'll be that. So the Indiana Fever come into here.
The defining moment came with just 13.6 seconds left. Indiana's season hung in the balance, and the ball found its way into Sims' hands. She rose with that signature floater she's perfected over the years, and it dropped pure. That was the shot. The one that put Indiana ahead for good and stunned the Staples Center crowd into silence. As she jogged back down the floor, arms steady, face composed, it felt less like surprise and more like inevitability, like she had known all along this moment belonged to her.
Yeah, I'm 5 straight points to ultimate Aliyah in this game. What was that line in those 5
I mean, I think she threw the ball well from the 3 and was open before I made that shot, but I mean, I didn't lose confidence. I think my teammates did a great job along with the coaches, just constantly talking to me. They weren't worried about my missed shots. It just came down to continue to play. They believe in me so much, so that helped me. And when I shot it, I was open. It was going to do or die. It went in, and I was excited about that. Like I said, I was open from the three, but we got the W, so it feels great.
After the game, Sims kept it simple. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. That one line summed up Indiana's entire night. No excuses. No panic. Just readiness for whatever came their way. And because of Odyssey Sims, the Fever didn't just leave with a win, they left with proof that resilience isn't a slogan. It's their identity.
Just going off just like the last 2 years, just up and down, in the league, out the league, hardship, contract being cut, all that stuff. It really doesn't matter. I think I'm a human definition of you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. I think every opportunity that that's been given to me, I'm taking full advantage of. These opportunities that you can't let slip away. You never know what tomorrow brings. You never know you'll be on the team one day, on the next day. So just being able to come in and just stay ready, have my energy flow to my teammates, and just be positive. Like I said, we're a good group.
And as brilliant as Sims was, she didn't carry it alone. Right there with her stood the heartbeat of Indiana's identity, Aliyah Boston. She didn't just dominate the game, she delivered a message that still has Fever fans talking.
Sparks started the game on a 7-0 run. Here's Mitchell, right back to Boston, and unable to get that one, but follows her on. Cameron Brink and Ray Burrell going to be checking in next time there's a stoppage for LA. Here's Turner in traffic, and she gets it up off the window. Beautiful pass from Boston. 7 on the shot clock. Mitchell turning the corner. Jump stop in the lane, loses the ball. Brink throws it right to Boston. Easy layup.
All night long, Aliyah Boston's play built toward one lingering question. What did she really mean with that post-game message? Because if you watched closely, she was already answering through her performance. This wasn't just about numbers on a stat sheet, it was about impact everywhere on the floor. 22 points to power the offense. 11 rebounds to battle through the Sparks frontcourt. 4 assists to keep the ball moving. And a career-high 6 steals to anchor the defense. That kind of across-the-board dominance rarely comes from a single player in a single night, but Boston carried both ends without hesitation.
Julie Alomar with 5 points here tonight. They go high-low, and Boston the beneficiary. That's the 18th point off of the Sparks turnover. Hamby the crossover. Hamby rejected there by Boston. Here's Mitchell, always dangerous with the ball in her hands. Finds Boston's free throw line. Boston against Hamby, jump hook, gets the soft bounce.
The defining moment came in a blink, just 1.9 seconds on the clock. Los Angeles scrambled for one last shot, but Boston saw it coming. She reached in, stripped the ball clean, and ended it instantly. No chaos, no second chance, just a superstar slamming the door shut.